And
going on, guys?
welcome to Bookworm TV. I have here with me Dennis.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hi. And pretty soon you guys are going to get to find out why he's called Mr. Six Rings, okay? We just wanted to get to know him a little bit more, find out about who is Dennis, what got him into the industry of modeling and of acting, and, you know, about his faith. How does his faith play a role in what he does? So welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you, Bookworm TV, for having me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, what we meet? We met at the Golden Ball, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys were looking off the chain. He was one of the hosts, you guys. They did such a fantastic job honoring women, and you know what? I'm so excited that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Why was it important for you to be at that event honoring women?
Because, well, one thing, we wanted to let everybody know that it's okay for men to acknowledge and to honor women. And I was the first male to actually host. So, and Ty was, you know, caught up between, you know, I don't want to just have women honoring women.
Right.
I want to have a male that can honor women too.
A strong African-American black man, male, a positive one, right? Be seen in a positive light. You know, the weekend before I was actually at an event and it was just talking about violence and sex and rape and things of that nature, which is a pretty tough, it's a tough, you know, thing to be there and know that there's a lot of people that's been through it or that's going through it right now. What kind of a role model, I know you're a model in the literal sense, but what kind of a role model, or why do you want to be a role model for African-American males?
Well, that's a pretty deep question. However, I love these questions. They make me think. The reason why I want to be a role model, and it's not that I want to be a role model, I am.
Right.
You know, that's something that just is innate for me.
It's so interesting you said that.
Yeah.
The fact that you said that you are, that tells me that you embody the quality.
Yeah, embody the quality,
Wow.
for sure. The thing is that, you know, one day I'm going to have kids, you know, and there's some people that actually out there that actually look for that particular person to kind of understand and learn. I don't know who's out there that wants that information or haven't hit me up or anything like that, but it's something that I think that's kind of like my calling, you know, to be more of an example for men on how to mold themselves and actually how to treat women.
Wow.
Yeah,
you feel that's your purpose. That's deep, you guys. Oh my gosh. You have an African-American male that's saying he thinks that this is his calling, this is his purpose, to help to groom the next generation. And I'm choosing my words very, very, being very particular in regards to that.
Yes.
Grooming them, you know. Not only is he a fashion icon, you know, in terms of being in the fashion industry, but everything that he says, he knows that he's being held accountable and it's being captured on film, you know, as an actor, you know.
Right.
What made you decide to go that route in order to kind of work on that platform?
Well, you know, I went through life and, you know, played football. I did the corporate thing and I just kind of, you know, one day I sat down and it just hit me and the Lord just kind of put it on my heart. So this is how I could capture, you know, what I want to get across. And this industry allows me to do it. It allows me to be who I am. It allows people to get an understanding of who I am.
Right.
And it allows me to bring what I can to the table in terms of my skills and my creativity. Now, the industry itself it's a fickle industry. You have to be very careful about what you put out there and what you take in. However, I'm a very strong believer in what I love doing and who I am. So it's hard to kind of distract me.
Right.
But the reason why I got into this industry is because I feel like I'm a hustler. And it fits well with my personality.
Right. I like how you said that. You said that you're a very strong believer in who you are and everything like that. So I'm glad you kind of made a segue to that. I want to tie that into just all that's happening right now out there, especially in Hollywood. It's a tough time, I feel, for the industry. in regards to just all these different things that are coming about, coming forward.
Specifically, what do you mean?
Well, in terms of, we see a lot in the media where there was just a lot that was going on in the background, and now it's coming to the forefront. I feel that women are really trying to get the respect that they deserve, and whatever it was that they were going through in the background, they feel as though it's important now to bring that to the forefront, you know? And whatever was going on in terms of male characters, during that time, they are being held responsible for things, right? So a lot of people, I feel, are not necessarily wanting to be in that industry, and you mentioned about faith. So tell us more about your faith and how does that play a role in regards to the decisions that you make, the roles that you take, and what you do in terms of you carrying yourself as an African American male.
Okay. For me, faith is, having a vision of what you want to do. Also, faith is embracing the obstacles that come your way. Faith is being able to separate, your vision and your obstacles that are going to come your way, and be able to believe in what you believe in. Now, my faith, I believe, is strong to me because certain things get to me, but I don't let it affect what I have going on. I'm not superhuman. I'm human like everybody else. There's self-doubt. There's, sometimes there's something that comes across. I'm like, man, should I be doing this? But that's faith, though. Because if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be faith. So faith is being able to embrace it, but also overcome it. So for me in this industry, I have my days where I have my days where it's like, what's going on? But then, I talk to myself, I pray, and there's a sense of me that say, you know what, like, move back to the side. So it plays a big role because in social media, things can get taken a whole different way, right? Just from you posting a picture, people can perceive you in a certain light. People can perceive this and perceive that. So perception is reality in social media. So you have to be careful, but at the same time, you have to be both. So it comes with, it's a give and take. So faith for me is strong because I don't let it get to me. Once you understand who you are, what you want to do, people can say you're a murderer, people can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want about you, right? You just have to be in tune with the man above. You have to have a couple, friends, and you have to just believe in yourself. Right.
So you know what? Speak to that one young man. Doesn't have to be African American, just that one young man that's out there that's really struggling and they're trying to really get into the industry, And you mentioned about social media. It could help to build you up or tear you down.
Correct.
It's a platform, it's a vehicle, it's a highway. So speak to that one person.
So if I had to speak to one individual in terms of how to break through, my thing was to understand who you are first before you jump into what you want to jump into. After that,
So what you're saying is that before you get on all of that, you cannot be in an identity crisis mode. No. You have to have a strong sense of self and knowing who you are.
That's number one.
It's so interesting you said that. I wrote a book. It seems like it's geared a lot more towards women, but it's definitely encouraging them. It's called Virgin Secrets, and it's all about dating, waiting, and finding your purpose.
Okay.
Right? And in there, I talk about identity. You're talking about male and identity. It's so interesting to hear you say that. We think a lot about women and identities because then they sort of like clone or they put up with a lot of things because they don't have a strong sense of self.
Correct.
What is it like for a male when they don't have a strong sense of self? And we as women are looking to you guys to lead, right? To play the leading role.
It's kind of like an oxy right there. It's kind of like men don't have a sense of self and a woman doesn't know, so it's like you're trying to get together.
Oh my God.
That sounds like chaos to me.
Reality TV.
Reality TV basically. Just throw it up against the wall and see what happens.
Right.
So to answer your question, and that question was, what is that like to?
Yeah, so how does a guy? I'm gonna rephrase the question.
Mm-hmm.
How does a guy go from having a lack of identity with self to, playing that leading role?
Right.
Yeah.
That was me initially, because before the social media thing started to come, I didn't really know, who I was or what, because what happened was I was this big football player and that's gone. Now I'm just this random guy in corporate America.
Right.
So it's like my identity. It was like, what am I?
Who am I now?
Like, who am I?
Yeah.
But I did have a little, faith in terms of, who I am, what I bring to the table. And that was, I had to find the little thing that I knew about myself. And that's how you can start to gather who you really are, right? So the one thing I had about myself was that I was big in confidence, and I had this aura and this energy, and basically, I can probably walk into a room anywhere and people notice who I am. So that was something I noticed about myself. I didn't really know too much, right? I didn't know how, the charisma I put on TV, or I didn't know like the how the camera, feels on me and how people perceive. I didn't know that. So as time started to come along, I noticed that I can depend on those little things. I can always go back to the basics.
Wow.
So that's how I believe you can.
I like how you said that.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in for a second. You went back to the basics. So you looked inside of yourself to kind of pull things that you knew about you way before you became that football player and everything like that. Now, did you also utilize the resources around you or the people around you in terms of close people in your circle?
Oh, of course.
Like your family members, your friends,
Yes.
that knew who you were before you became a football player.
I'm talking about post-football now in terms of, identifying who I am, what I want to do, and, where I want to go.